This is the magic of makeup. Let me show you how you can shape your face in a way that affirms your gender presentation. We've got my blank slate, masculine, and feminine. Okay, let's do this. When I'm doing any face makeup, I want to start off with a primer. It'll help your product stay smooth and stick to your skin throughout the day. Next is a coat of foundation that'll make your face one even tone. I chose to apply it using my fingers, but you could apply it using a beauty blender or a brush. Next, I'm going to use the beauty blender to dab it on my face so that it's even. So this is my summer color. Don't mind that it's a little bit darker. I have a light concealer that'll help to brighten things up. Right now I want to go for a more masculine presentation, so maybe I'll pull up a masculine face chart to help me out. Some things I notice are a wide jawline, thick eyebrows, a broader nose, and a square forehead. So let me get started on the eyebrows. I know I want to make it bushier and a little bit wider. Look at that thick eyebrow. I'm not really looking for an arch. I'm sort of going flat and straight. I just use black eyeshadow for that, by the way. And if you do happen to make a mistake where it's a little too wonky, you could use a brush and some concealer to carve your eyebrow out. Now let's get into the real magic. We're gonna start contouring. I'm gonna use a shade deeper than mine to create depth, to carve out where I want it to be sunken in or just more prominent on the face. I've got a deep brown eyeshadow on my brush, and watch where I place it. So my eyes look a little more sunken in and my nose just looks more prominent and bold. One of the more important places to contour for a masculine look is the chin and the jaw. So I'll show you where I'm gonna go from there. Look at that chin. It is pointing out. We're gonna be very geometric with my cheek contour and sort of make a square here. So I'm gonna go under the cheekbone and then drag it down. And you can sort of see this space over here. I'm gonna blend that in either with my contouring brush or with the beauty blender. Alright, I've got a bit of a sharp jawline here, sharper than usual, so I'm gonna work on my forehead now. I'm going to deepen my temples over here and create a more square type of forehead. Let's deepen this out a little bit right by the end of the eyebrow. Let's go back and make my jawline extra sharp. I'm gonna make my face contour a little more bold, and while doing so, I'm gonna map out where I place the product. I'm using a darker brown for this, near black. Let's go back to my eyes and do a little more contouring. My goal right now is to deepen my eye sockets, so I'm really gonna focus on these outer corner here and a little bit on the inside. I'm gonna take a fluffier brush and blend that out. One thing about me, I want my work to show, so I'm gonna use a super light concealer to sort of highlight where I contoured. So I'm actually gonna go under that and carve it even more. I'm putting this bright concealer like right against where I placed my contour. But when I put the contour, I put it outwards, while the highlighter, I'm putting it inwards. Feel free to use something closer to your skin tone. I just like it more dramatic. I'm gonna make my lips a bit plumper and add some contour under them. I still want to conceal my eye bags a little bit, so I'm just gonna do that now. So next I want to make my facial hair a little bit bolder or create some where it's needed. So I'm gonna add some mascara onto my brows to make it darker and a little bit bushier too. I'm gonna do some experimenting and use this thin brush with a black eyeshadow and start to draw tiny streaks around my jawline. And this is my masculine makeup look. Let's do something a little more feminine and start with a bare face. Round 2, let's do this. Can't forget primer, foundation. So looking at a feminine face chart and knowing my routine, I know I want sharp chiseled cheekbones. I want more of a narrow, smaller nose. I probably want thinner eyebrows, and I do like to add some rosy cheeks, and we'll see where we go from there. Personally, I like to start with highlight, so I'm gonna show you where I add mine. I'm brightening my chin, I'm brightening my under eye, a bit of my forehead and my nose, and then I'm gonna contour it later. I really like something dramatic when I'm doing a dramatic look, so I go for a near white under eye. But of course you could do something closer to your skin tone, just a little bit brighter under the eye if you do want to highlight. If you were to take a flashlight and look where light reflects, that might be where you want to add your highlight. So really around this area in your forehead. I like to brighten my under eye, like I said. I'm probably going to add some highlighter around here. We'll get to that later. So for a feminine contour, I am going to use the same shade, but again, my goal is a chiseled cheekbone. So I'm going to go right under where it would be and emphasize that, just like this. Some people like to drag it all the way down. I like sort of a rounder cheekbone, so I'm just stopping here. I'm gonna make my forehead a bit smaller as well and address the outer area. This is similar to where we placed the masculine contour, but I'm gonna take it a little bit up. I'm also gonna make my jawline sharper. This is pretty similar to the masculine contour as well. I love a sharp jawline. Instead of the masculine contour where we emphasize the chin around this part, I do want to make it smaller and contour the lower area. I hope you can see a bit more dimension now around my cheeks, around my forehead, and I'm about to contour my nose as well. I'm not going to start from the eye socket like I did last time. I'm going to start about right here and go inwards. I'm also going to add a bit of a button nose. This is how I'm going to do that. I'm going to layer some contour on the bridge of my nose. You could already see where the light reflects on my nose. It's at the top of the bridge and at the tip. So I'm just gonna follow that and add just a little bit. Let me do my eyebrows as well. I'm gonna show you how I make them a bit thinner than they are. So I'm not gonna overline on black everywhere where my hair is. Like with the masculine look, I made it bushier, but I'm just gonna draw a line with the thickness I want my eyebrows to be, and then I'm gonna conceal over the hair. I'm gonna carve out my eyebrows now. So in the last tutorial, I used a lighter concealer to define the contour, but on the day-to-day, I usually use powder. So I'm gonna carve out my cheekbones using the powder, and I'm even gonna set some of my cream makeup using the powder. You could do this for any look you want. This is gonna go below the contour, below my cheekbone. Wherever the highlighting concealer went, I'm putting the powder too. I'm gonna let that sit, or bake as they call it, for a little bit, and then I'm gonna wipe it away with a brush. While we're waiting for this to set or bake, I'm going to add my blush. So sometimes I use a red blush, a pink blush, or I sort of have this orange blush that I really like. I'm also using all eyeshadow for this. I don't feel the need to go out and buy contour products and blush and all that, but what worked for me might not work for you, and vice versa. You might want to smile as you're doing your blush to catch the apples of your cheeks. That's where the blush should go. I also like putting a little bit above my eyebrows, just for fun. I like being nice and rosy. So I have a big brush with nothing on it that I'm gonna use to wipe away the powder, just like this. Okay, looks good to me. Let's add some highlighter. So when I say highlighter in this instance, it's usually sparkly or glittery. It's gonna make it super bright. This can be used for masculine or feminine looks, but I tend to use it in more feminine looks. So I'm gonna put this in places where light reflects. Like I mentioned over here, I may put it under my brow bone. I'm definitely gonna put it under my nose and maybe above my lips too. I have this fan brush that I'm gonna dip into my color and then do this. Love it. I'm gonna use a smaller brush, add some highlight to it, and put that under my brow bone. Anywhere where the light reflects, I'm making it reflect just a little bit more. I'm gonna line my lips now. Some people like to overline their lips. I usually just follow the natural line. And I'm done. I might add some mascara to this, some eyeshadow, but this is my feminine base.